Right, perfect. All right. Well, I'll start this off by just asking if you would give your name and how it's spelled.
Hansel Gill, Hansel Gill.
All right, appreciate that. And now, I was actually wondering if I could just get a little bit of your background, how you got involved with all of this.
So I am from Huntsville, Alabama, and one of our NASA centers is stationed there, Marshall Space Flight Center. I actually born and raised in Huntsville, Alabama, grew up there, and as I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with life, I majored in math. And I was hired as a young engineer in the materials and processes laboratory in metallic materials.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I got into NASA. Michoud Assembly Facility is managed by Marshall Space Flight Center, and a lot of the work that we did in weld development and materials development, metallic materials development, was implemented here. In the space system hardware that was coming through here was the shuttle program at that time. And so the work that I did caused me to travel here on a pretty regular basis, really just to execute the job assignments that I had. So that's really my first encounter with Michoud Assembly Facility. It was just towards the end of the shuttle program when we were building external tanks here, and a lot of the materials and processes that we developed in Huntsville, we came here to implement into the production of the hardware systems.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I got here, and really over the years, really almost as soon as I came into the factory for the first time, you're drawn in immediately, and you learn that you love the work. And really, each job assignment, I know you're not asking me this, but I'm just telling you, each job assignment that I've looked for in the future has almost been based on what can I do to be close to the hardware, because I really love that side of the work, and this is where the hardware is, and so I'm glad that I can be a part of it.
Well, thank you. So I assume this means you live here now.
I live in two places now, right? So I call New Orleans my second home, but I actually reside in Huntsville, Alabama, and I have work relationships that are important to maintain in Huntsville, and then I come here to MAF, and I split my time about half and half.
Okay. Well, since you called it your second home, what do you think all this really means to not only New Orleans but the entire state?
Yeah, so it is. It's really been the backbone of human space exploration almost since the inception of NASA. Since 1961, this facility has been building hardware for the space endeavors for this country. Apollo program, external tank. And it's easy to get fascinated with the past, but the work that we're doing here presently is extremely important work. It's extremely challenging work. And we are providing a capability for this nation that's really can be almost unmatched anywhere in the country, especially with the critical systems that we have here, many of the weld systems and machining systems that we had here, and our ability to process large-scale hardware. It's a crucial part of what the nation's needs are, and that we can do it here in the New Orleans region certainly makes us proud. And New Orleans has a unique location that gives us the ability to do these things. Once we have assembled these large-scale vehicles, you can no longer transport them through roadways and airways, but we're close to deep water port. It allows us to barge systems as they're completed here and ship them to Kennedy Space Center for launch. So there's a lot of things that make our ability to produce hardware here advantageous. Some of it is location. A lot of it is the capabilities that we have in this factory, and we've got a workforce that has learned and known and has talent in building space structures for over 60 years.
Appreciate that. And lastly, I'm just going to ask, from a personal standpoint, obviously the inner tank back there is going to be taking astronauts back to to land on the moon. How excited are you about all of that?
I love it. You know, I love the hardware, and I love the capabilities that it provides the country. I'm injuvenated. I'm energized every time I walk into this building and see the hardware, and you just get it's almost an intrinsic value that you get knowing that the work that you're doing is important, and so I feel that energy every day. And the work, and I keep saying this, the workforce that we work with, very dedicated team. They love coming to work here every day as well, and they know the importance that it has to the nation, to the country, and especially for this region.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you so much for coming and showing some
My
interest
pleasure.
here.
We're going to do a